You've seen them. You probably considered them.
But here's the question. Are Art TVs really worth buying? Or are they a gimmick?
In today's video, we're going to take a deep dive into Art TVs.
We'll share everything you need to know and if they are really worth buying.
Let's do this. Welcome to today's episode, everyone. Well, we got a pretty exciting one, Ralph. Just wanted to let everybody know. So we are not going to do full reviews because there's plenty of content out there already about the different TVs, but really what we want to do is bring more awareness into like what these TVs are. So what we're going to do is break this video up into 5 parts. Part 1 is what are Art TVs? Part 2 is what brands offer these TVs?
Right.
The third one is how, and this is probably an important one, how do these compare to regular TVs that are out there?
That's true.
And then the fourth one is, tips and tricks to get the most out of these TVs, Ralph. And then finally, just our final thoughts, honest opinions. Just a quick plug. So if you are new to the channel or you're a returning viewer, but you haven't subscribed yet, please hit the subscribe button. It really helps us support our channel. If you don't subscribe, that's okay. At least drop a like on the video. It really helps us out.
So let's start from the beginning, Armando. What is an Art TV? Well, an Art TV is just something that you just put in your decor and just let it sit there. And it's basically just artwork. Instead of just that really big, huge rectangular black box that you all normally see. So that's what an Art TV does.
Exactly, Ralph. These TVs have like painting-like characteristics. They have wood bezels around the edges, matte screens, so there's not a lot of reflections coming off of it. As you can see, like our lights, there's not a whole lot that is reflecting from here, so that's actually awesome. And then also they have really super slim wall mounts, which allows the TV to sit as super flush and flat to the wall as possible.
That's pretty cool.
Right? So I mean, literally it's within millimeters of sitting on the wall. Then once you're ready to watch TV, you basically go to the home screen here, and then it will just turn into a normal TV.
Well, that's pretty cool, Armando. Let's talk about the brands of the TVs. Now, Samsung was the very first brand, right? Now, they started off with their frame TV, and it's actually really awesome because that was the first gen of the TVs. But here's the other thing. The Hisense and then TCL came out with theirs. The Hisense Canvas and the TCL NXTFrame came out recently. So that's their competitive right there.
Yep, that's right, Ralph. And each brand comes in different TV sizes. They obviously have their own interface and settings. They all offer a little bit of different options, like their art libraries and some accessories and stuff. But primarily between the 3, they do the same thing. When you turn it off, it shows art. When you go and hit the home button or power it on, then it goes into normal TV mode. All right, Ralph. Well, now that we've given a background of our TVs, what brands are out there, how do these compare to other TVs out there? I'm talking like regular TVs, not our TVs.
Yeah. And when it comes to comparing prices, with these TVs, they're almost the same as a QLED and an OLED TV, believe it or not. Well, here's why, bro. This TV, or this Art TV, is actually edge lit. Believe it or not, it's edge lit TV. That means that the panel is actually using light from the edges to produce the picture. Whereas OLED and QLED use a backlit TV, where they use dimming zones. Dimming zones, they are independently working in the TV, in areas where they need it. So like my TV has 256 dimming zones, whereas the best TVs have like 3,600 dimming zones. These, however, they don't have dimming zones. They use, edge lit. That's the difference between the Art TV and a really good OLED or even a QLED TV. However, Samsung and TCL, bro, have a Pro model, which they do offer a better edge lit TV. They do have like 24 dimming zones, but that's the only thing that they have to actually kind of compensate some of that high contrast to give you that illusion of HDR content.
Yeah, that's good, Ralph. And the one thing to note about even the Pro models, they do offer sort of those dimming zones and a better edge lit panel overall to give you better picture quality. You're still going to find that they're so much more expensive that I think the Samsung Pro model is more expensive than some of their better OLEDs that are out that they offer out there.
Gosh.
So yeah, it's really a huge trade-off when it comes to choosing an Art TV versus a OLED or some of the best QLEDs that are out there. So you really just have to shop around, and it really just comes down to making sure you do your checklist of whether or not this is a TV for you.
Yep.
So, I mean, it may seem like we're really hating on these TVs, but that's not what we're trying to do. We're really just trying to call out what I think a lot of people are going to run into, or what they don't typically will look at, is the picture quality.
Right.
But the one thing that I do want to notate here is that there's a reason for the edge lit design for these panels, and that's keep it as uniform and as thin as possible. Whereas if you go with some of those QLED or even those OLED models, they're significantly larger or bulky in the back of the TV in certain areas.
Well, hey Armando, I just thought of something. Why can't anybody just use a regular TV or OLED or QLED as an Art TV?
That's a good question, Ralph. And I'm pretty sure there are people out there that have done this already, or are contemplating about doing this. So the biggest issue, like I said, is the art mode. So it's having a static picture like the one behind us on all the time. Now, granted, there's motion sensors, there's light sensors too that help to turn the TV off when there's nobody in the room or when it's really, really dark. There's really no reason to have this on, to be honest. But even if you found, the thinnest OLED, which I believe the LG G series, the Gallery they call it, they do a very good job of making those TVs really, really thin. The problem is you wouldn't necessarily want to use an OLED TV as an Art TV, right? Because then you get into, burn-in issues, which we all are aware of with OLEDs. I own one myself, and you don't want to have that TV on with a static picture like this on all the time, because you're going to risk that burn-in. With some of the QLED panels that are out there, you can get some super flush mounts. The most flush I've ever seen one of those TVs comes off about a couple centimeters. And I've seen people do, like more recessed, like wall customizations in their home, where you can put the TV on there. So by the time you spend and invest all this time and money into trying to customize a normal TV to make it an Art TV, I mean, you're better off to just have bought one of these TVs.
So basically what you're saying to me, bro, it's possible, but it's not practical.
Yeah, that's right, Ralph. I mean, and that's basically why these TVs exist in the first place.
Well, that's pretty cool, Armando. So since you own this TV, how do you maximize these TVs?
Here are a few tips that I can share with you out there where you may want to start with. Tip number one is, choosing the right bezel. With the Samsung Frame TV, it doesn't come with bezels, so you actually have to buy these. That's the only problem with Samsung, is everything costs extra. The nice thing about TCL and Hisense is they do come with a TV. But the problem with that is you may not like the color, so you're probably going to end up spending money to buy new ones anyway. So choose a bezel that kind of matches your furniture, just your overall aesthetics of that room. That really helps to go a long way. The other one is the size of the TV. So the reason why I went with a 55-inch as opposed to like a 65, it's always nicer to go as big as possible. I don't want to draw too much attention to the TV. I would be mindful of the size that you go with. And I would say the smaller you go with, the more you're able to sell that it's a picture.
I got you, yeah.
So if you go with a 65 or 75 inch, you're just gonna have this ginormous piece of art that's out there. And really the only way to sell it at that point is you're gonna need some significantly large sized pictures around that area.
That's true, yeah.
Just so that way you can draw less attention to it.
Well, that's a pretty good tip, bro. Now, especially like when you get into a larger size TV, it's gonna be a lot harder to pull off. What other tips are there out there?
And I notice this is a big deal too, is the ambient lighting that's in your room. The more natural light that you have from your windows, from a sliding door like I have in here, just anywhere, like just lights in general, I would say the brighter the room, the more you can sell off the art. Now, for the 55-inch Samsung frame here behind us, one thing I want to show you all is when you're in the picture mode, there's actually additional settings that you can go to, and you can, like right here, I don't know if you can see it really well, but you can kind of see a slider that you can play with that illuminates and deilluminates the picture. Now, this is separate from the actual TV brightness settings. So that's one tip. I'm not 100% sure on the Hisense and TCL TVs on whether or not they have that functionality. With Samsung, I know they do. I don't know if you could see it there, but it was dialed all the way, almost all the way down. And what's nice is when you set it low with the light sensor, if it gets brighter, it actually will illuminate the TV a little bit more, and then it darkens it. So you want to make sure that you know, it's not bright enough to where it's, you know, beaming light.
Yeah.
Because then that's going to be a dead giveaway. I would say darker is better, but not so dark that you can't see it. Try to find a sweet spot, but hopefully that's a great tip for a lot of people, especially a lot of you Samsung frame owners out there. Hopefully you knew about that one, because that's a big deal, is the lighting.
Well, that's great, bro. Any other tips?
Yeah, choosing the right art. Yeah. So you can see behind us here, we have this like Halloween theme. Ralph, I don't know if you want to back up, but yeah, there's a Halloween themed painting here. The reason why I went with this one, and I go with a lot of similar paintings, is because I feel like they give the best illusion off. Whereas if you use like a photo or like a picture, like landscaping, you can kind of tell that it's digital looking. With this, it definitely does help to sell it more, that it's a piece of art. And that brings us to the final tip. And I know I had to ask you this a couple times. It's like, hey, should I hook up a soundbar to this thing? Yeah. And after I thought about it, I mean, you obviously said, yeah, absolutely. You know, go with a 5-to-1 or an Atmos surround sound system. And after I thought about it, I said, you know, if I add a soundbar to it, and I have a soundbar literally sitting right below the TV,
yeah,
now it just looks like a TV again. You know, the whole purpose of this TV is really to make it blend in with the decor that we have,
yep,
and not make it to where it's like a huge eyesore. Like you were talking about, it's like a black hole, and then, you know, rather you have something that looks kind of cool and kind of just blends in the background. All right, Ralph, well, let's get into some final thoughts.
Yep.
And let's answer the question of whether we think this is a gimmick or if it's legit. And we'll start with you. What do you think?
Well, it's not a gimmick. I think it's legit, especially for like a picture frame. Now, it's a good seller. I mean, if you're into artwork and stuff like that, bro, I mean, this is actually the thing for you. When I came over and I've noticed this, I had to do a double take, and my brain had to process if this was a TV or actual artwork. So that's the one thing that actually this is what this TV frame is supposed to do. It's supposed to make the illusion of a picture, not a TV. Keep in mind, it's an edge-lit, not a backlit TV, or it's not an OLED. So, I mean, those are the things that you have to consider when you're shopping for these things. Now, you do want to, if you want to get into the Pro Series, which has 24 dimming zones, a little bit brighter. For me, I wouldn't get it because I'm a home theater enthusiast. And what are your final thoughts on this?
Yeah, Ralph, I mean, I agree with you on the picture quality, and that's not the reason why I bought this TV. The reason why I bought it is because I needed a second TV to where when we have people come over and we're entertaining, or if I want to watch some sports or the news or whatever, you know, I don't have to go to our dedicated like theater room or like living room space. I can just, from the kitchen area that I have, I could just turn this on when I need it. Yeah. And when I don't, it just displays a piece of art. So that was one of the biggest selling points for me. And my wife also, she actually, with her own words, says, I don't want a black hole right there in that space.
Yeah.
And so I sold her on the frame TV. Now, the reason why I went the Samsung versus like the Hisense and the TCL, it just came down to the deal that I was able to get for this specific TV. I think the Hisense and the TCL are good budget-friendly options. If I had to choose between the two, I would say that the Hisense is probably the better one.
Yeah.
But again, like I said earlier, there's a lot of different content out there where that will help you to choose which of the three TVs you should go with. I would say for a lot of people, this is going to be a very niche buy.
Yes.
For people that may be in the same situation as me or don't care about the best picture quality or home theater experience. They just want a TV that is in their space and they want it to blend in with their decor. This is perfect for those individuals, and I couldn't recommend it anymore because I don't think it's a gimmick. I think they're definitely legit. I wouldn't have bought one if it wasn't. But you know what, Ralph? I think that concludes our video.
Absolutely. So make sure you like and subscribe and hit that notification button.
And as always,
keep it hi-fi.